Did you ever realize that seasons that we go through within a year can also impact your sleep? In this video, we will look at how the different seasons impact your ability to be able to sleep better or perhaps not so good, and what are those different elements that might be impacted just because the seasons change. Hi there, my name is Beatrix Schmidt from the sleepdeepmethod.com. I'm a sleep coach and speaker, and I help professionals to overcome more lifestyle-related insomnia and other sleep-related issues. So if you're looking for practical tips and advice on how you can overcome some of those issues, hit the subscribe button below and come back each week when I share brand new practical tools and techniques on how you can make that happen and develop great sleep for years to come. I remember when I was living back in Hungary, we did actually have 4 separate seasons. And looking back, I can tell that certain times I was sleeping better than other times. So I'm not sure where you are in the world, but I will look at how some of the seasons that you might experience has an impact on your ability to sleep better in some scenarios and not so good in others. The first part of this video, I want to talk about temperature. So how does the different temperature play a role in your ability to be able to sleep really well at night? The first thing with temperature is obviously how it's going to impact how much your body sweats, perhaps what kind of duvets or covers you need to have on your bed, because as the temperature might be higher, you won't need as much cover. But if you're in winter, you probably need a little bit more. And it's going to actually also impact what kind of temperature you have in your room. So if you're currently in a summer period or perhaps living in a warm country, temperature is a big role. Whether or not you can either use air conditioning to lower the temperature a little bit more so that you can make sure that it doesn't overheat. So looking at changing your pillows, the sheets that you have during the winter months, and different ones, lighter ones, during the summer will really help you to help your body to adjust to that temperature change across the different seasons. The second thing that really impacts our sleep is our eating and drinking habits. I'm sure you can remember times when perhaps during the winter months your body craved more food. You were perhaps even more hungry during the days all the time because your body needed to actually cater for what I mentioned earlier within the temperature and your body creating more heat to keep you warm. And this then tracks back to your eating and drinking habits. So you're more likely to want to have a heavier meal during the winter months, maybe more pasta, maybe more seasoning, versus the summer when you want something more lighter because you're getting different exposure, you're getting more temperature, higher temperatures during the days. Another part here is drinking habits. Now, drinking habits, that has 2 sides. First of all, during the summer months, people tend to crave a little bit more of water, more colder drinks. Whereas in the winter months, it's more warmer drinks, it's perhaps more teas and the coffees and those kind of hot drinks that helps us to warm up a little bit. The other side I want to talk about, it also links back to our social behavioral change. So for example, during the summer months, there might be a lot more social activities, the barbecues and the social gatherings and maybe catching up in a park for a picnic. And that's when people tend to drink a little bit more alcohol. The third element when we look at sort of seasonal change and how that impacts our sleep is light exposure. And this is one of the main ways that we get impacted differently during winter months and summer months, depending on the country you live in. So of course, if you live in a country that has consistent summer, then you're going to have a different dynamic there. Whereas most of Europe, where obviously in London, for example, when we have different type of light exposure during the summer and during the winter months. And I think this is one of the biggest things that sometimes people tend to perhaps ignore a little bit because we expect our body to be able to put up with it and function really well. And our own expectations from ourselves is that we can peak perform all the time. But when you look at a country that has got different seasons, we also need to bear in mind how our body needs to be adjusted because of the light exposure. So things like melatonin production, things like how much energy our body can create. Light exposure is one of the main ways that our body can regulate itself with sleep. Another one of these super important dynamics when it comes to seasonal change across the year is air quality. And again, if you live in a European country where we have kind of more standard seasons, a lot of people that struggle with sleep, there are going to be times when this air quality is massively impacting their sleep. And think of times, for example, when an individual is struggling with hay fever, for example. Of course, going through hay fever is going to impact your sleep. And you're probably going to have to take some medication for the hay fever itself, which will then in turn will impact your sleep. So in these kind of scenarios, it's really great to just be a little bit more patient with yourself and preparing for that season accordingly. Because when you prepare for the season and you know that your body is going to respond to something like hay fever, it's going to help you to emotionally manage that period of time as well. So you not have as much expectations of having this perfect night's sleep all the time. So seasons like that, when it's actually down to air quality, is a really key part for us to really enjoy good quality sleep. If you live in a country where you perhaps use a lot of air conditioning, that's another way that your body is impacted. Perhaps you're going from a really hot air outside, maybe a humid kind of air quality, and you go inside where you put on the air conditioning and your body has to adjust really fast. Again, look at those dynamics and see how you can maybe tweak some of those things so that you're able to support your body better with the different changes in air quality. The last part in this video regarding the seasonal change I want to talk about is something that kind of a little bit surprised me at the time when I moved into the place that I currently live in. And I live in London where it's a very green area, so we've got quite a bit of nature around. And this is one of the things that actually disturbed my sleep at the time when I moved into this particular place. So I didn't consciously realize how surrounding myself with more nature will come with its potential negative side effects too. So where I live, we've got quite a number of birds and foxes and cats and dogs and so on. And so what was really interesting to see, even though my sleep is pretty solid, when I moved into this place, the seasons made a big difference for me. So for example, there's a time during the year where it's the mating season for the foxes. And if you have lived around areas where you've got these kind of more wild animals, you kind of know how many kind of really weird noises they make and the screeching and screaming and those kind of different animal noises you might hear suddenly in the middle of the night. Where you live in and what environment surrounds the place that you live in is going to have a seasonal change to it. Whether or not those are storms maybe at particular times of the year, whether or not these sort of animals, nature, birds, different noises that come from the outside can really impact our ability to be able to sleep really well at night and perhaps even sleep through the night and wake up refreshed in the morning. I would love to know if you can think of anything else that maybe plays a role in your sleep when it comes to the change of seasons. And if you've got any weird and wonderful stories, I would love to hear them, because I certainly have got some over the years with different flats, different countries I lived in, perhaps holiday sleep, when your sleep is really disturbed by all those different changes in your environment. So use the comment box below and let me know what you think you have experienced over the years when it comes to seasonal change and how it impacted your sleep. If you like this video, I would really appreciate if you hit the like button below Subscribe to my channel and share it with a friend or a family member that might benefit from it. Overcoming insomnia, overcoming sleep problems takes time, which is why I want to do my best to support you with these kind of practical videos that can bring more awareness about how your sleep is and how you can tweak and fine-tune your sleep so that it can develop to a great level for many years to come. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, overcoming sleep problems takes time. So be patient with yourself and keep looking for practical things that will work for you and with your personality.